This season, Instacart has your back to school. As in, they've got your back to school lunch favorites like snack packs and fresh fruit. And they've got your back to school supplies like backpacks, binders, and pencils. And they've got your back when your kid casually tells you they have a huge school project due tomorrow. Let's face it, we were all that kid. So first, call your parents to say I'm sorry, and then download the Instacart app to get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes all school year long. Get a $0 delivery fee with your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 an order. Additional terms apply.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to This Song Is Yours. We're a music podcast that chats to artists, musicians and creatives on their songwriting craft and upcoming projects. I'm your host Simon Fink and welcome to episode 260. Our guest for today's episode is a personal bucket list guest of mine. I've loved his music since his 2010 record, The Wild Hunt, so getting to chat with him was a real treat. It is Kristian Matsson, who most of you might know as the tallest man on earth. We've included all of his details, including where you can buy his new record, in the show notes, which is where you'll also find all of our details as well. If you're not already, please make sure you subscribe to the podcast on whatever application you use and follow us across our socials on Instagram, YouTube and TikTok. Again, all of those details can be found in today's show notes. As mentioned before, our guest today is the tallest man on earth. The Swedish troubadour, known to friends and family as Kristian Matsson, burst onto the music scene all the way back in 2006 with his self-titled EP, and across several studio records has showcased his love of folk, rock, country and soul. The brilliant singer and songwriter originally drew comparisons to Bob Dylan with his first few records, which were very sparse and they just kind of showcased Kristian and his voice and guitar. In April of this year, he returned with his 7th studio record, which is titled Henry Street. As anyone who follows Kristian would expect, this is another beautiful record and a great addition to his back catalogue. It is the first time that we see Tallest Man kind of fleshing out his sound with a full band behind him. This record was produced by Nick Sunburn of US indie pop duo Sylvan Esso, and the pairing of these two very different songwriters seems to have worked really well in evolving the Tallest Man sound. In today's episode, we speak to Kristian about how COVID kept him from writing any new music throughout the pandemic. We discuss working with Nick and a full band to try a new sound and how that kind of played out. And we discuss some of Kristian's earliest memories around touring Australia. He is coming back and touring Australia in December of this year, and we've included all of those dates in the show notes, as well as where you can buy the record and find all of his social media. We want to say a massive thank you to Kristian for coming onto the podcast, and we do want to say a massive thank you to Dave from Diamond Creative Services for his help with this episode. Here is our conversation with the tallest man on earth. I'm gonna breathe and work for every little part I know. I'm gonna breathe and work for every little part I know. Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Kristian Matsson, aka the tallest man on earth. Kristian, hello. How are you going?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you for your time. As we've discussed, it is morning for you. Where exactly are you joining us from today?
I'm in the region of Dalarna in Sweden. It's like 3 hours northwest of Stockholm, so right in the middle of Sweden, out in the countryside.
Lovely. Is it, I'm going to take a stab in the dark here, is it heading into your springtime at the moment?
Yeah, no, it's actually heading into what we call summer. So midsummer. That's a big thing over here. It's coming up in a couple of weeks, and it's beautiful outside. It's like 23 degrees, sunny. Things are growing in the garden.
Beautiful. I had some friends who were in Sweden only a few weeks ago, and the photographs that they sent back, it kind of gave that same picture. Very green lush, heading into what looks like a very nice and warm and sunny season.
Yeah. I mean, it's not warm compared to where you guys are, but it's perfect. Yeah.
Again, I appreciate your time. I know it is a busy time for yourself. At the moment, there is a brand new record out for The Tallest Man on Earth. It is called Henry Street. It is the 7th studio record for yourself, and it is a gorgeous record, I have to say. Firstly, congratulations on this record.
Thank you. I'm happy it's finally out.
Of course. How are you with each record release? As we've kind of discussed, it's the 7th record. I think you first started releasing music back in 2008 with Shallow Grave. Does the process of releasing records get different as you kind of progress, or is it just you kind of get better with each record that comes out?
Well, it's kind of hard to talk about a linear way of it. I mean, with the pandemic came in and just messed everything up. So now, I don't know. It's just this record was recorded early last year, and then everything's trying to get on its feet again in the industry and getting shows. I waited a long time for it to be out, but that was kind of natural right now, just to get to figure things out again and get on the road. So, but in many ways, I'm more calm about it, and I mean, I don't know. It's just a lot of things happened during pandemic. I was here on my little farm just by myself a lot. A lot of things happened in terms of, realizations, and growing up fast, which I don't really, I feel a bigger peace now and a bigger confidence in just releasing records, because I don't really, I realized when I couldn't do it for so long, I couldn't play live shows, which is what I do. So I've been doing my adult life and recording records. And I realized, like, oh shit, I'm going to do this. When I get to do this again, I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to do that for the rest of my life. And I stopped being nervous about where it's going to take me, like what's going to happen to my career. And I just know I'm going to do it anyway. So I feel proud of this record just because I have so many friends on it. And it was the first time I dared to ask friends to play on it. The first time I stepped away from stepped away from the DIY that has come from a lack of self-esteem, I think. I'm not asking other people. I just do it myself. I'll just do it myself, because I don't have to be vulnerable. I don't have to be vulnerable. I tinker here. I'm a nerd. I love to tinker I have a bunch of tape machines here that I've been messing with just last night, actually. But it was a really beautiful process of making it, and so I'm proud of it being out. Yeah.
As you should be. I think it's the record is called Henry Street. It has been out since, I think, mid-April. And one thing I found incredibly interesting initially in the press, and I think in a few interviews, you mentioned that this record is the most you. And then once the record came out, I think it is. It took me a little while after a few listens to kind of get a hold of it, but it's interesting because I feel like this is a melting pot of a number of the previous records that you've put out, and I'd love to know how you came across the thought of that this is the most Tallest Man record, if you will.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the other albums are just as much me as well, but as I say, I Love You, It's a Fever Dream from 2018, 19. 19, when that came out, I was going through a breakup and was feeling really shitty, and I recorded that. I put some rules on myself. I have to record this in my New York apartment with like limited gear. It's like not go here, so I'm just gonna do that. And that was me. That was me. That sounded how I was as a person then. But I would say what I mean with me, that I think I was more fearless than ever, of just like not thinking of the end product, of just letting things happen in the studio. I mean, that sounds like a political thing. But if like the songs are to me, looking at them and the demos I put in there, because I had like 20 demos and they were all very different in style and maybe like genres, if you want to talk about that. But I feel that I just threw it in there, and what came out, it is this is how I want to describe myself, as a complex person. But I feel like all the part. I mean, there's more, all the parts of me, and what I want it to be in there, because it is an album about almost wanting to give up, because the world is pretty damn dark. Like, we're, as humans, we're misbehaving, to say the least. That's a cute way of saying it. We suck. But then, so that's the start. But then the hopefulness of like the thing, why I don't give up. I don't think we give up. That like that there's still a cute, because I found that in myself after being depressed during the pandemic and almost giving up myself of doing music. But then the album is about that moment when you're almost like, why should I should just give up. That's why Henry Street is in the middle of the album. Like, I just don't know if I can take it anymore. But then we still fall in love. We still laugh with friends, even though what's going on. And we still try to make beautiful things. Like, my friends are doing great art and music, and that's what I'm trying. What is it what is that drive that we haven't really figured out? And that gives hope that we have that in us. So I think I let that shine through on this album more than ever. A lot of the albums before that has just been kind of me moping about breakups.
I think there was a brilliant quote. What did you call it? You're a stubborn optimist, I think was the phrase that they used, which I think is a perfect way to summarize it. Yeah.
I am.
The record, the lyrical content, I know previously, I think, what was it? It might have been Dark Bird, where you had to return to some of the songs and maybe some of the lyrics were too personal or too vulnerable or revealing, whatever it may be. And in this song, and in Henry Street especially, I feel like there are some lyrics that touch on very human emotions. They're very raw lyrics, but they don't quite give away too much. And I was wondering, I guess, because you previously had to do that with Dark Bird, how do you now balance giving your all and having vulnerable lyrics, which is, I feel like, a touchstone of the Tallest Man project, but without kind of crossing that line and revealing too much of yourself?
Well, revealing, I don't think I'm not as much focused on just myself anymore, but say the Dark Bird editing, that was because that was about a very specific, it was about a divorce. So it just, and this whole, like, just because you make an album, the whole world is just not about you. So I made that into something nicer to be, to live on in the world for specific people. But here, like in a song like Henry Street, it's not just about me. It's about the people I've observed, people I love, people that I love that I don't know. Like, I feel compassion for, like, living in New York and seeing people, struggle to be, we grow up in this world and we're taught that, like, that we are, as humans, that we are individuals, like, outside of an ecosystem. We're on top of an ecosystem, that we're all individuals. They're supposed to, it sounds really lame from a white dude who is semi-successful, that I'm in a good spot in the world. But we have that, we need to, like, prove ourselves as individuals above. And then we fail because then, like, society tells us to do that, and then it doesn't work. We don't stand out. And to see that, I saw that a lot in New York. So I was feeling a lot of compassion for that. And all those people are in, like, the song is about our struggle, as, our confusion, or just total confusion about not where is that, like, without being, I wouldn't call myself religious, but I think about that a lot. What's our purpose here? Like, because, like, just as a worm, it has a purpose of just, like, making the soil. I'm growing a lot of vegetables to make it, not as compact in there, and then they get eaten by someone else in the ecosystem. The worm doesn't think about what it's doing in the ecosystem, but it's there, and we have a place too. And we have no idea what us humans are here on Earth to do. But
my dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
It took a lifetime to find the person you want to marry. Finding the perfect engagement ring is a lot easier. At BlueNile.com, you can find or design the ring you've always dreamed of with help from Blue Nile's jewelry experts who are on hand 24/7 to answer questions, and the ease and convenience of shopping online. For a limited time, get $50 off your purchase of $500 or more with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com. That's $50 off with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com.
I've been trying to can we do positive, to do positive, to make someone else happy, to inspire each other, to be good people. Yeah,
100%. It is.
The coffee is just kicking in.
No, I love that. I would love to, if I'm allowed to be a tiny bit selfish, and I'd love to discuss my favorite tracks on the record. As we mentioned before, recording, have been to see you a number of times, so I will put myself out there that I am a fan of The Tallest Man and of yourself, Kristian. These songs, I think, what was it? There was Henry Street, the title track, is a gorgeous track. But I know a few other people have asked about that song in the press. The other song that I loved, which I'd love to kind of get you to break down for us a little bit, if you allow us to, is Goodbye, which is in the second half of the record. It's this gorgeous kind of country folk soul track. Where did this song come from, and I guess what was the inspiration behind Goodbye?
Because I couldn't really write songs during the pandemic when I was here. It was too dark, depressing, boring, and I stopped writing songs. And it all kind of exploded when I was able to return to America. I used to live there, but now I live here now. But I was locked out for a year and a half, give or take. But when I got back to North Carolina, or I went to North Carolina because I have a lot of friends who live there, and that was where I was going to record my album. And I just started writing songs, and songs are different. Like a song like "Bless You" with that picking pattern, you would sit and work to get those words in there, and I don't know. But a song like "Goodbye," I think I was just sitting outside one morning and actually having a cup of coffee, and that was one of those songs that just banged out, where you just like say goodbye. It was nice to have like a little strummer in there, and to me it's a warm song about being lost in the world. It's just where you're at this. I just turned 40, and you realize, like, one of the things I love about growing up is that you realize it's like, well, life's going to be like this. It's going to be served challenges, and it's about how you face those challenges. You can never erase all the, like, get to a point where there are no challenges anymore, and you're just like, you're there. Life is easy now. It's just going to be like that. So it's just kind of maybe it's a pat on the back to myself. Maybe I went on because maybe I did. I think because I wasn't. I think I remember I hadn't been dating during the pandemic because I was just here, and I think I'd just gone on a date and didn't work out, and it's like, man, it's hard. Yeah. But then I mean, there's so many songs that are live takes, just with the band playing together. Most of them are like that, if not all. Yeah, most of them all are. And Goodbye, we just played. That was and it's the vocals we kept the vocals from that live take. That's just a run through of the song. We just play it, and everyone's just is such a good player that played on the album. So it's very easy, very fun to record.
Sonically, it is a beautiful record as well, and there have been previous times where I think in some of the earlier albums it's just been your vocals and guitar. I think when we hit There's No Leaving Now, you added some more instrumentation, but this is the kind of first full band record, I want to say, from The Tallest Man, and it does work beautifully. For anyone who hasn't listened to the record, it will be in this podcast show notes for people to stream and listen to and buy. What was the decision behind putting a band behind yourself now and having like a full kind of set of instrumentation? Because I think there's not only piano and drums and bass, but I think there's some French horns, maybe Rob Moose, who works with Bon Iver, and Phoebe Bridgers, he did some of the strings, I think, as well. Yeah. Where did those kind of sonic decisions come from?
Well, it comes from the epiphany that you can't just, life's too short. I have all these friends that are amazing. I've known Rob Moose and, CJ Carmeri, who plays, one of my dearest friends who plays all the horns. I've known them since they started playing Bon Iver in 2011 when they did that tour with, a gazillion people on stage. But it came from, like I said earlier, that I've been doing this by myself for so long. And like Dark Bird is Home was also like a lot of players on it, but that was more of like an overdub situation where I would run around, record it here. I was run around and play all these instruments, like overdubbing, and then asking like, hey, do you want to add something to this? And like, take your time. Like, but for the first time, I needed to, allow myself to feel that I am a capable musician. I can play my guitars, my banjos, and it holds up. It holds up to playing with other people in the same room, because that is such a joy to do. So the decision was just like, this was not going to be I'm going to go to the studio. I'm going to invite these friends. And of course, inviting them, I know how badass all of them are. So I could go in with the instructions of no instructions, of going in and like with every little heart. That song, I wrote the riff and I heard this little drum part in my head, but I was not going to tell TJ Mayani what to play. Like what I heard in my head, I was just like, what do you think, buddy? And then he would come up with that crazy beat with that kick drum pattern that is just, it's so different from what I could ever, because he is such a, he would put in, first, he's an amazing drummer, but also a beautiful person. And he came in from his side and he added that, and that turned the song into something. And those were the moments that I was looking for, and without even asking for them, I got them all over and over. So that was to do something, to have trust in myself, to have trust in, that was not hard, to have trust in my friends, that, because we also came from, it was an amazing time in the studio, and the vibe, because we all came from not knowing if we could do this again, like play music. So we hadn't done that, or just been in a room together, like with other people. With that, so it was that. It was fun and emotional. Like we were laughing and crying and having these big dinners every night where we were just like chatting about life, because we could do that again in a room and high five, and that just got into the album. It was what I was looking for, and I got it many times more.
That's incredible. I love that. The record was produced by Nick Sunburn. Just talking about the process of it, I guess. who some people might know as one part of Sylvan Esso, the American, I want to say indie pop act. I guess they're not bound to one genre, but indie pop might cover the basis of Sylvan Esso.
They're hard to pin down. They're extremely ridiculous.
Oh, what was the decision? I guess, how did you come across Nick, or were you guys friends previously, and it just kind of organically happened like that for him to produce the record?
No Nick for a long time. He's from the whole Wisconsin diaspora that lives down in North Carolina. But I knew him from the band Megaphone. That it was him, Joe Westerlund, and then the Cook brothers, Brad Cook and Phil Cook. Phil, who also plays on the album, they had a band called Megaphone. That before that they played in bands with Justin Vernon before Bon Iver happened. So it's just the whole Wisconsin family. Me early days of Tallest Man on Earth, played a bunch of shows with Megaphone. We used to meet up at festivals, and Nick played bass in Megaphone. So I've known him and seen him over the years, and he's just an amazing person. Just like how he treats being here on Earth, and his musicality, but then also his philosophy on it. Just I knew that if I'm going to have when we were maybe I should have a producer on this album, and then I just thought of Nick straight away, Nick, and me and Nick talked about it, and it was, I don't know how to put words to it. It was amazing.
Look, he did a very good job on it, and as I've said, it is a gorgeous record. I think it's a brilliant addition to the catalogue of the Tallest Man records. I know that there's a lot of excitement about you bringing this record down to Australia in December. Firstly, I guess, can we expect, talking about having a full band behind the record, can we expect a full band or some form of band on the road, or are we doing Tallest Man solo when we see you in December?
I think that's being planned right now. I am just kind of tumbling off the tour bus. We did 32 shows here with a full band. I think we're just trying to figure out the logistics right now. But hopefully, there'll be as many people as possible. It's far away, but it's an amazing place. I think it's maybe like my fifth or sixth time down to Australia. So, and it's been it's so far away. So it's always so far in between. And now there was a pandemic, but I can't wait. It's going to be amazing.
We are very excited to have you down. As we had a quick discussion before recording, is that I think we came to one of your earlier shows back when you toured Shallow Grave and The Wild Hunt. Do you have many memories, not necessarily of the shows, but I guess many memories around Australia and those first number of tours that you did when you came down here?
Well, I remember that show. What was it called? The bar, it was like a bar in Adelaide, and I stayed on top. I got a room in the inn above, and I think I almost fell in love with the woman running it, like that. But just it was so romantic of being in it. It was I don't know. I think I have a theater from there somewhere.
It might have been the Gov or the Crown and Anchor or.
No.
There's a few that I'm thinking of. I'm just trying to remember which one it was.
It was a white, just like a house-looking place. It was like someone would have lived there, but it was an inn in the, in the bottom of it, just as a bar.
It's a very good Australian accent there at the end.
That's not a hard word.
Lastly, Kristian, we would usually ask our guests what they're currently listening to. Is there anything at the moment that's kind of on rotation for yourself?
There's a lot of things on rotation, but right now, an artist named Kate Davis. Kate Davis, mm-hmm. I think we're on the same label or something. I don't know. Amazing, just amazing songwriter, and the production is just badass. Kate Davis. Look her up.
definitely we'll be checking out Kate Davis. We'll make sure we put her details in the podcast show notes as well. But as I mentioned, we'll be putting in where people can buy Henry Street and where people can purchase tickets to your December tour. Kristian, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. I very much appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much for having me, and have a good night.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
I'm Kristin.
And I'm Jen from the I Mom So Hard podcast.
Now listen, we don't want to brag, but yes, we are moms. We're average moms.
Below average sometimes.
But we're not just moms.
Yeah, we don't want you to think that we're just moms. And we're not just supermodels either. We're not just pieces of meat.
That's right. We're not even close.
Yeah.
But we are comedians, and we're also best friends.
We're also best-selling authors.
And television writers.
And we created a viral web series.
With over 300 million views.
Okay,
What's up?
bragging.
Who's bragging? And we were in our swimsuits. Again, not supermodels.
We're also podcasters.
Are we podcasting right now?
Not right now, but we have been podcasting for 3 years. We're bringing laughs every Tuesday to women and moms everywhere.
And one dude who's a sophomore in college, his name's Greg, whatever, he messaged us and made me feel cool.
So nice. Amazing. Please listen to the I Mom So Hard podcast on Acast.
Woo!
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.